Welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Tony St. James as we get things rolling here on a Thursday morning. Weekly export sales report out less than an hour ago, and really some disappointing numbers. We'll see whether or not it affects the markets. And speaking of the markets, let's start in Chicago with the corn market, as we're a half penny higher on the July. 420 and a half. September is also half penny higher, 426. Overnight action December, quarter cent higher, 436 and 3/4. Now for the corn, we saw an increase, 6% increase in export sales over last week, but it's down 39% on the 4-week average. Beans 5.5 higher on the front month, July, 1168 1/4. New crop 2 3/4 cents higher, 1109 3/4. And for beans, down 49% from last week, and 19% loss on the 4-week average. What about wheat? 549 3/4 on July. Chicago, that's up 8.5. 8 cents higher on September and December. Hard red winter wheat is 584.5. We're at the top end of that trading range of 9.5 cents. We're up 4.5 on the session. September 3 3/4 higher, but roll out into those 2025 contracts, still part of that new crop, if you will. We're well over a nickel higher. Spring wheat, Minneapolis. Will we follow the trend? Absolutely. Up 6 on the front month at 602. That's at the top end. And in New York, cotton futures moving lower, and that's based upon export sales. Very disappointing number there. October down 8 points, 74.51. December half penny lower, 74.84. Let's talk about the grains and the oil seeds, and Brian Hoops is with Midwest Marketing and joins us again this morning. And Brian, that export sales report probably not going to boost the markets a whole lot especially cotton. That got hammered.
Good morning, Tony. Yeah, let's put it in perspective. It's not a disaster of an export sales. It's not maybe what we want to see or what we hope to see for corn and soybeans, but it is strong enough for the old crop corn, old crop soybeans to be on pace to reach the USDA forecast. So the good news is they won't lower their export forecast in the July or August reports, most likely because of the pace that we're on. They're unlikely to raise it either. So pretty much what we see on the old crop side of the demand balance sheets anyway is where we're at right now. There's a concern that corn sales will slow going forward because South American supplies are starting to hit the market now. The second corn crop harvest in Brazil, that safrinha crop, is about 10-15% harvested by this time, and that is going to start overtaking U.S. sales. So I wouldn't be surprised to see our sales start to slow even further. The wheat sales were pretty decent at about 24.5 million bushels. We're only in the third week of the marketing year, but we're ahead of last year's pace. So that's good news. Normally, our sales right off the combine is when we have the best sales period of our entire marketing campaign. Usually we get these harvest lows like we're seeing now. Wheat sales off the combine improve quite a bit, and we're seeing a decent rebound compared to year ago levels. So whether we can maintain that or not will be a question probably answered what happens with the U.S. dollar, and also what happens as far as the price levels go of this wheat crop. It's dropped substantially from our highs this spring. Now are we at a level that can stimulate some demand and continue to chew through some of these big wheat supplies? Because the harvest reports that we're hearing, hard red wheat, amazing. Soft red wheat, some of this is incredible as well. I have clients in central Missouri that are telling me, the average is probably 100 bushels an acre, maybe up to 125 in a lot of areas for that soft red wheat. So just outstanding yields.
Yeah, we're hearing some really good reports off of the combine on wheat. Well, we'll come back and talk livestock in just a moment with Brian Hoops as Market Day Report continues after this. Welcome back. It's Market Day Report. We're getting things rolling this morning. Looking forward to reopening our livestock markets. We have seen a little bit of trade in the South. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go to the board, though, where we closed yesterday with gains in June live cattle up 345 at 192.92. The August most active at 186.75. That was about 50 cents off the day's high, but up 232 on the session. What about for the feeders? Well, also saw gains there with August 261.77, up $2.72. And in front of a quarterly hogs and pigs report out at 2 o'clock Central Time this afternoon, August hogs yesterday settled 222 higher at 88.97. Fed Cattle Exchange 193 yesterday in Texas, and live bids sitting at 188. So have set the table. What are we going to eat today? Brian Hoops is with Midwest Market Solutions, and Brian, what are we going to put on the plate?
Well, yeah, the cattle market, of course, very strong technical action yesterday, big moves higher, and well supported, I think, with higher cutouts. The cash trade looks to be stronger this week. You mentioned some 193 on the exchange, and we're still looking for those feedlot cash trades to develop. The 188 bids are going to be passed pretty quickly. They're not interested in anything like that. On a dress basis, we should see something strong as well, definitely stronger than what we've seen in the South. So we're looking for that higher cash trade. The market's dialed it in. Anything less than that would be a big disappointment. You go into next week when you get the holiday shortened kill week, that should keep boxes at least pretty well supported. Then you get past the 4th of July. Now you're talking about demand and that sort of thing, and that's where we have to be concerned about. The exports this morning were a little bit of a rebound. 16.7 million tons sold last week. It's a decent number, kind of a little bit better than what we've seen, but not outstanding by any means. The pork sales that we saw were a big rebound compared to a week ago. They were up over 39 million tons. And you mentioned the hog and pig report out this afternoon. It doesn't get a lot of fanfare, probably won't be closely watched, but we should get maybe some more short covering in that hog market in front of that report and off of this exports number.
And again, that comes out after the close, so any reaction to that will be tomorrow. Brian Hoops is with Midwest Market Solutions. Brian, thanks for the time, and it really sets us up for an interesting day of trade.
Absolutely. I like what you said, Tony. Like, what's on the plate? What are we going to be eating? I think a lot of people right now trying to plan their 4th of July festivities and what they're going to be cooking and what they can afford, because it's not easy right now at the grocery store. Even though they say inflation as far as grocery prices has cooled, it's still much higher than where it was a couple of years ago.
Absolutely.
Do you grill? Are you a big griller?
I'm a big griller. Not very good, but I'll eat anything that's on that grill.
There are probably a lot of guys watching right now going, no, get me out of the kitchen, get me outside on that grill.
Yes.
It's just your job. I'm going to say that. Thank you, Tony.